Overnight, markets and policymakers are watching the Middle East for signs the latest escalation may be easing. The BBC reports oil prices fell and stock markets rose on reports of a possible deal to end the Iran conflict. The Financial Times says Iran is reviewing a US-backed peace proposal, while the US has paused a plan to guide ships through the Strait of Hormuz after clashes in the waterway. Even with talk of a deal, the risk to global energy supply remains central. The FT reports U.S. fuel exports have hit a record as Asian and European buyers seek alternatives amid disruption fears. On the conflict front, the situation remains fluid and multi-theater. The Sydney Morning Herald reports U.S. forces fired on an Iranian tanker as Tehran considers a new proposal to end the war, and that Israel has struck Beirut's southern suburbs for the first time since a ceasefire with Hezbollah began. Al Jazeera reports Israel bombed Beirut's southern suburb targeting a Hezbollah commander, and also carries reporting on alleged double standards in West Bank rules of engagement. In Europe, the BBC reports Russia ignored Ukraine's unilateral ceasefire and struck a kindergarten, while German police have raided neo-Nazi criminal youth groups across 12 states. On artificial intelligence and the broader technological revolution, ABC has a prominent piece arguing Richard Dawkins is asking the wrong question by focusing on whether AI is conscious, reflecting a wider shift in debate toward practical impacts, governance and accountability rather than metaphysics. Separately, the Financial Times notes U.S. domestic politics are being shaped by internal party battles ahead of midterms, and Al Jazeera reports U.S. primaries are reinforcing Donald Trump's influence over the Republican Party, a factor markets weigh when assessing policy stability. Turning to Australia, energy security and the economy are the lead material developments. SBS reports the Albanese government has unveiled a roughly $10 billion fuel plan, including a billion-litre government stockpile, with diesel and aviation fuel reserves and broader reforms responding to the fuel crisis. The conversation supports the direction, but says the move is about 5 years late, and notes key details remain scarce, including implementation and financing, with full rollout flagged by 2030. ABC also reports the government is budgeting on the assumption that global oil flows will not quickly return to normal, despite unpredictable statements from U.S. President Trump. On fiscal settings and policy, SBS reports tax breaks and superannuation changes are set to kick in from 1 July, with Treasurer Jim Chalmers flagging more measures in the upcoming budget amid muted expectations on cost of living relief. The SMH reports Chalmers is aiming to lower deficits, and that there is cabinet frustration over Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock's public warning at a sensitive time. The Guardian reports attention is on possible capital gains tax changes, and separately canvasses rumored tweaks to family trusts as a way to address tax inequality. Politically, the Guardian's reporting and commentary frame Labour entering its 5th year with questions about appetite for reform and whether the government remains too cautious. On national security and the Australian Public Service, ABC and SBS report 13 women and children linked to Islamic State fighters are expected to arrive from Syria, with police saying some of the women will be arrested. Authorities are preparing for the arrivals today and tonight, and the government insists it did not assist their return. Locally, SBS reports 3 child protection workers have been stood down following the death of Kumanja's little baby, as investigations continue.